Hey, what's going on, folks? It is your boy Rosie here, and this week we're going to talk about Andor Season 2, which I am very excited for. So Star Wars it's in need of a bounce back. Yeah, the Acolyte did bad, the Skeleton Crew did bad. Yeah, they need a victory. They need something that a lot of people are going to watch. So, yeah, at Star Wars Celebration, there's a lot of exciting announcements. Apparently, there's a Maul show on the horizon. I'm very excited about that. Maul is probably my favorite Star Wars character. Of course, the Mando movie is still in development. Hopefully, we'll see that soon. It's been a while since we've gotten Mando, and that was a good show. Yeah, Ahsoka Season 2, of course, that's got to be in the works somewhere. I love that show. That to me is peak Star Wars. Like a Force user, dark side users, this clash of various, Force powers. Like that to me is what Star Wars is about. I love the bounty hunter kind of people, but really, like, Star Wars is about the Force. And Ahsoka's, a fan favorite character. Yeah, Rosario Dawson plays her extremely well. I think she's a very good actress. Yeah, love the character, love the show, love Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. I think that's a very exciting project on the horizon there. And apparently there's lots of movies, too. One with, what was it, Gosling? I think it's Ryan Gosling who's going to be in one of the movies. Exciting time for Star Wars fans. And I do think that Kathleen Kennedy leaving Lucasfilm is a step in the right direction. The way I view this is she's taking accountability for Lucasfilm's recent struggles. These failed films, like Solo, like the shows I mentioned, Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, I think they can all be traced back to decisions that come from her and come from the various leadership people. And the way I view her leaving is she's taking accountability, saying, you know what, like the one thing all these things have in common is me. Maybe I ought to resign. So yeah, she did that. And my response is, well, yeah, thanks for the work you did for Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy. Sorry it didn't work out, and I wish you luck in future projects. Apparently, they started avoiding prequels with established characters after Solo because they thought the lack of stakes, given that we know that characters we see in future movies survive, is what's making them not sell well. That's why people aren't going to see them. So, if that were true, then the whole prequel trilogy would be pointless. I mean, think of movies like The Hobbit, the Wicked movie that just came out, X-Men First Class. At really any movie that's based on a book, how could you believe such a thing is true? Like, prequels that explore backstories of characters, even though you know that they don't die, those tend to be good sellers. Like, how could you arrive at that conclusion? The reason Solo didn't sell well was, you just kind of picked the wrong character to explore, man. I didn't dislike Solo. I saw that movie and I thought it was all right. But I go into Star Wars wanting to see Force users. I just never really viewed Han Solo as that interesting a character. He's a guy with the vest. He's human, basic looking. He's Harrison Ford. He'll always be Harrison Ford to me. It's like these projects fail because they're the whole vision behind them is designed to fail. People go into Star Wars wanting to see a certain thing. They like characters like Obi-Wan Kenobi, like Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker. It's hard to sell people on something that I guess that's new to them. But really, you need to do it to some extent, but you have to ground it in what you know to be Star Wars. And it's a line that's hard to walk, and they've just been failing to walk it. Really, and they've got, like I've been alluding to, and they've got prequel versus new stories flipped. Prequels are where you should explore established characters, where you should explore their backstories, how they became who we know them as from classic Star Wars movies. But that isn't what they've been doing. They've been trying to establish these new characters in prequels, in things that take place during the Clone Wars or even before then, and that's flipped. You should be telling new stories later, but for some reason they're trying to tell they're trying to ride nostalgia with new movies. Like the whole sequel trilogy was really just them trying to milk us with nostalgia, trying to milk us for cash by showing us the Millennium Falcon, classic characters like Luke and Leia. Like that's not how you do sequels. Sequels are where you should be telling a new story, not the same freaking story with the same antagonist, from the originals. Like what undermines the original trilogy more than bringing back the antagonist that trilogy was about defeating? What could they be thinking there? Like, what is... Yeah, Lucasfilm has got to get themselves together, and they need to figure this out. I really hope George Lucas just comes back, takes the position of head of Lucasfilm again. That man has his flaws, but he knows what Star Wars is and knows how to do it. Yeah, I'd trust him in a role like that. Yeah, so let's break down what we know about Andor Season 2. I kind of just went shot by shot in the trailers to see if I could pick some things out to talk about, and I found some interesting stuff. So with Cassian, a lot of Cassian in here. He's Andor, he's the main character. So, yeah, there's a lot of shots where he looks like he's disguised. He's roaming through that white architectured city, carrying stuff in what look like various disguises. So perhaps he's on some sort of covert mission. What planet is this? So, based on the white architecture, everyone wearing nicer clothes, I'm wondering if this is the city of Alderaan, which is the capital of the planet Alderaan. And that would make some timely sense with where Andor takes place, as we're getting close to A New Hope, close to Rogue One. So yeah, Alderaan should be picking up steam. So that's them to go with. I bet this is the planet Alderaan. And I wonder if we're going to see Jimmy Smits back as Bail Organa. Love that actor. Love Bail Organa as a character. Maybe we see Leia. Who played Leia in Kenobi? Let me look that up real quick. Yeah, she was good. I remember when I was still using that terrible mic and I hadn't committed my original channel all the way to Bethesda yet, I reviewed Kenobi. Yeah, I said, yeah, the girl that plays Leia is very good. Let's see. Leia Organa, actor, Obi-Wan. Vivian Lyra Blair, that's right. Yeah, I wonder if we see Vivian Lyra Blair playing Leia again in some sort of cameo. Yeah, maybe it's some sort of inside job against the Empire, and the Organas are behind it. I don't know. That'd be pretty cool to see. There are also several shots of him on a planet that to me looks a lot like Lothal from Rebels. Yeah, there's one where he embraces Bix with a warm hug. So I wonder if maybe that's where the ship that she and Brasso escape on in the finale of Season 1 ends up. Cassian sends them away to one of the moons, and I guess they're going to have to escape to somewhere else from there. So yeah, I wonder if they end up on Lothal, and that's where Cass finds them, like he says he will in the finale. Yeah, that's a location I'd love to see again. Yeah, maybe we'll get live-action Rebels characters. We pretty much know that Zeb is going to be in the Mando movie, so maybe we see him in this. Maybe we see Kanan Jarrus in live action. Yeah, I think that's all very neat. I love seeing lightsabers, love the Force. That's something I think could be like a very good one episode there. We see those characters again, and they're with Cassian. They're pulling some rebel mission. And what a lot of people are wondering is, are we going to see K2? So there are some KX security droids, which feels like a pretty clear innuendo to K2. So for those who don't remember, K2 is the droid from Cassian's original movie, Rogue One. That's the droid that's like his sidekick. So the thing with that is there is a canon comic where we do see how he meets K2. So everyone's wondering, like, is this going to get retconned? And honestly, I don't see how you avoid it, because people that aren't familiar with comics, that's a pretty niche thing. Only pretty in-depth Star Wars fans are going to see something like that. So I don't see how you avoid it. I think you have to address K2. Like, you could either just tell the story of how they meet in the comic in live action, could do that, or they retcon it, or they say that's no longer canon, here's their official meeting now in live action. And I think that's the right direction, honestly. because I don't see how you avoid the questions about when he meets K2, unless you do like maybe like some time has passed in season 1, and we're meant to assume the events of the comic are between seasons 1 and 2, and maybe they just inexplicably add K2 in. But there's still questions in that. Like, people are still gonna say, like, why wouldn't you show us him meeting this droid? They'd have to say something or retcon it. I don't see a way around it. Now let's talk for a bit about Luthen. So the common theory with him is that he's going to be a Jedi, and I think that is 1000% right. Yeah, that is what's going on here, folks. I remember there was a moment last season where he entered Saw Gerrera's camp and had to hand his cane off to one of the guards, and he made some comment about it, I don't remember. But at that moment, I was like, yes, and they're choosing to draw attention to that stick. Yeah, there's a lightsaber hidden in there. Yeah, that's what's going on here. His big moment at the end is going to be that he draws a lightsaber from that cane and defends rebels that are trying to escape the last battle of the season. And he stays behind and dies. That's going to be what's going on here. 1000%. And that, to me, also raises a question, are we going to see Inquisitors? Is he going to be put down by maybe the fifth brother? That'd be neat. Or maybe the Grand Inquisitor. Maybe we see Rupert Friend or someone else portraying the Grand Inquisitor. Maybe Jason Isaacs portrays his character from Rebels in live action. I think that'd be awesome. So it looks like Lady Mothma's wedding is going forward. So yeah, that's Mon Mothma's daughter. And yeah, I wonder how she's going to feel about that. I mean, seemed like her daughter wanted to do it. It didn't seem like she was against it. So there's at least that. I mean, she can at least know that her daughter is getting what she wants. Yeah, and there's a shot of Governor Krennic in there greeting her and her husband, and what looks like Dalvo, the guy who's the parent of the arranged weddings of the groom. You know, yeah, that's the sleazy guy they set the wedding up with. Yeah, so he's in the background there. So looks like Krennic's his storyline's gonna be tied into all this, you know, with Mon and everything. So that'll be interesting to see. Wonder how long that's going to continue. Yeah, I kind of envisioned Krennic being with Syril and Dedra. Kind of thought the Empire people were going to have their own storyline. Looks like maybe Mon Mothma is going to intersect with them. So yeah, let's talk about Syril and Dedra. So I'm thinking they're going to be involved in the construction of the Death Star. It seems natural for them. They're actually really not in the trailer much. Yeah, I think there's just one shot of Syril. Yeah, I think Dedra's maybe there twice. Yeah, one shot is her looking sort of puzzled, like she's trying to figure something out. Maybe a bit of stress there. Yeah, so I do have a theory about what's going to happen with them. So we last see them where Syril rescues Dedra from the chaos caused by the riot on Ferrix. That's where their story is left off. A lot of people are thinking maybe there's to be a romance between them. I think that's definitely in play, but it's not quite the direction I'm going in, but maybe that is part of it. Yeah, so I'm thinking they're going to be involved with Krennic, though I'm now doubting that a little bit, because now we know Krennic's going to be involved with Mon Mothma, but maybe they're all kind of part of this same story. Yeah, so yeah, it feels right for them. They're going to be involved in the Death Star. Yeah, my guess is that in exchange for saving her, Dedra is going to find a way to get Syril reinstated in his old position in the Empire, or some new Imperial job. I don't know. Yeah, and here's where I think things are going with them. You see, the way these characters have been portrayed thus far, we're really not meant to hate them. Like, Syril's desire for the Empire to be just and to use the power that came with his position to do good is genuine. Like, he's not some evil guy. He genuinely wants to do good. And I wouldn't say the same thing about Dedra yet, but I wonder if her arc is going to be that she's realizing what the Empire really is. Like, maybe like the Death Star and stuff with Krennic is going to make her realize this organization is not good. Like, what's happening here is evil, and maybe that's what's puzzling her in that shot where she's where she's perplexed, trying to figure something out, and seems unhappy. Yeah, so what would make a lot of sense for these two characters going off that is for them to defect from the Empire. Yeah, that's what really would make sense given how these characters have been treated thus far. Yeah, I mean, Syril, since his unfair firing, where he received the worst punishment than the situation really warranted, and he said all that much when he met Dedra initially, said, I didn't deserve what happened. So he's conscious of he was treated unjustly by the Empire there. Yeah, so it makes sense that he'd now be doubting the Empire as a just organization. Yeah, and with Dedra, we last see her on Ferrix, so maybe she's going to get left behind by the Empire there. Maybe the Empire's just gonna pull out, just kind of leave, pull their troops out, just kind of leave Dedra and Syril there to figure out, okay, and they have to figure out their next plan, how are we getting out of here safely? And maybe that's going to make her doubt the Empire's loyalty to her. So why should she be loyal to it if it's not loyal to her? And she's going to start to see, man, this is an evil organization, man. We're headed by Sith Lords. Yeah, and another idea I've got here is maybe their sort of redemption arc is going to amount to they're going to be the ones to rescue Mon Mothma, leading to her episode in Rebels, Secret Cargo. Maybe they're going to be a part of helping her escape Coruscant when the Empire starts sending people after her, when they put her up on the most wanted list. Yeah, and we'll see sort of a prequel to that Rebels episode. And the obvious ending for them would be they end up dying. They're imprisoned by the Empire. And yeah, that makes sense because we know Krennic's tied in with Mon Mothma too. So yeah, that's what I'll go with. My guess is all those characters that ultimately be part of the same arc. Yeah, and that Syril and what's her name, Dedra, are going to help Mon Mothma escape, leading to Secret Cargo, the events of Secret Cargo. Yeah, so yeah, those are my thoughts about Andor Season 2. I'm very excited to get back into this show. I love Andor, I love The Mandalorian, love Ahsoka. Very excited for all the Star Wars shows on the horizon. And yeah, this will not be the last time I talk about Star Wars up on the podcast. So yeah, thank you for listening, anyone who's there, and I will see you next time.